What's going on, Canes fans? Welcome to episode number 11 of Walking and Venting with Coop, the series where I literally walk along the edge of my property and I yell and scream into my phone about a hot, debatable, controversial, sometimes negative topic when it comes to the Miami Hurricanes. This is everyone's opportunity each week to freely speak their mind. You don't have to sugarcoat anything, and I don't want you to. The series is made for that. So be prepared if you scroll down to the comments to see some pretty heated ones and people saying however they feel, no matter how negative or bad it might be. And I want to kick this one off with a bang. Those of you that want Mario Cristobal and or Shannon Dawson fired are stupid. You're an idiot. Are you seriously telling me in Shannon Dawson's first year, you already want him gone? You're telling me that in Mario's second year, you already want him fired and you want to start all over again? You do know that means, I'm just being honest with you, I know you're already not doing it, but you're going to have to set your expectations down here. If we do that, they're going to have to start all the way down at the bottom. And part of the problem is a lot of people didn't do that this season. Now, let me go ahead and say that I am not accepting mediocrity. That's the number one thing I get fired at me every time. Well, Coop, I can't believe you're content with being 6-4. This team is trash. You weren't around for the glory days, and you don't know what it was like to consistently win big games and win national championships. Look, I get that it's frustrating, but we've already talked about it a million times. You're taking all those expectations and putting it on these coaches, on Mario year 2, and Shannon Dawson and Guidry their first year here. And I'm not saying that I am willing to accept mediocrity. My expectation is ACC championship and national championship every single season. But what can really help a little bit is if you have your expectations and then you also are able to separate that from reality and look at the entire situation and see where we're at. Like I said, you can keep your expectations high. That's fine. Mine are high too. And I don't want anyone to think I'm making excuses for Mario or Dawson or any players or anything like that. That's not what I'm here to do. But give me a moment. Give me 15, 20 minutes of your time. If you're one of those people that want coaches fired already, and let's see if I can talk you off of that ledge here. So the very first thing I want to say is I do believe we're seeing some growth and potential with this team. I hate to do this because I don't like comparing last year to this year, because what I want to do, can I be honest? I want to take this year, let that be the baseline because it's Dawson's first year and Guidry's first year here, and then compare this season to next season. I personally don't really think it makes sense to fully compare this year to last year. Yes, Mario Cristobal was still the head man. There were some other position coaches that were the same, players that were the same. But it's a new offense and new defense. So let's not continue to keep comparing everything to last year. We had to know that when we brought in a new OC and new DC that we were starting from ground zero. We'll compare 2023 to 2024 and see how it goes. But if you do, you know what? I'll play the game. You want to compare this year to last year? Do you want to know how many points we lost by per game? An average per game, how many points we lost by last season? I've got the numbers right here. I'll tell you. 21 points. Our losses last season, when you take all 7 of them and you average it out, we lost by an average of 21 points. You want to know what it is so far this season? 8.5. So we'll round it up. We'll put it up to 9. Now, I know what you're going to say. Coop, well, I'm not mad at Guidry. And that's our defense keeping us into games. We're not getting blown out, like we were whenever we had Kevin Steele as defensive coordinator. And that plays a huge part. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Guidry. And I know that most of the blame and And most of the fans that are upset with Dawson. I get it. But it is a team sport. And all I'm saying is I'm looking purely at just the scores here. I'm looking at the games. And we're keeping them closer this year overall. No, here's what I'm trying to say. We're not getting blown out. Our worst game so far this season was NC State, and we lost by 14. And that was just an all-around. There are no excuses for that one. NC State has a legit defense. But, bro, that's one where just nothing went our way. That was just a terrible game all around. All around. So I don't have excuses for that one. But even that being said, we only lost by 14. So my point is, there is potential with this team. We are seeing some growth if you guys do want to play the compare game and we compare to last year. So with that being said, let me also add this. I still firmly feel that we are a talented, baller, experienced quarterback away from being a pretty darn good team. That was really the piece that was missing this year. And it's unfortunate. It is. And you have to remember that Dawson's working with quarterbacks that weren't his first choice. He came in and basically adopted these players, TVD, Emory, Jakari, and they weren't his first choice. He's got to work with what he's got. And I know that's part of his job. I realize offensive coordinators deal with that all the time. But here's my argument. Let's give Dawson an opportunity to get a quarterback in here that he wants. Maybe let him hand-pick a quarterback out of the transfer portal during the offseason. Because in my opinion, Tyler Van Dyke does need to leave. I'm sorry. That guy, I realize that's going to be like 4 OCs in his college career, but that man needs some different scenery. He needs a breath of fresh air. He needs to be somewhere totally different, hundreds and hundreds of miles away from South Florida. That's what Tyler Van Dyke needs. With that being said, we know that Emory was just injured, and I'm sure he'll give anybody a run for their money next season, but he's still young, and that's not Dawson's quarterback. Let's let Dawson recruit a quarterback. Let's maybe let Dawson handpick a quarterback with experience out of the transfer portal. And let's see what happens. I just think it's wild that it's one and done. Like, do you not realize that that's part of the problem? One and done. It's like just continuing to buy scratch-off tickets and hoping that we hit the $1 million jackpot every time. When the chances are relatively low, right? The odds are stacked against us. Let's move on to another point. And really, I'm serious. If we can get a good quarterback in here, like with experience, a dog back there, this team's pretty darn good, even just as is. Even factor in the play calling, whatever the reasoning may be. He's being handcuffed by a player, Mario, whatever it is. I still believe that Dawson's being handcuffed by Tyler Van Dyke's play and by playing the young quarterback. And that does fall on him. A lot of the blame is on him. Adjustments need to be better. But again, it's year one. He's got to kind of learn the players in this squad and how they respond and chemistry between him and the other coaches and the players. It's his first year. Like I said, you didn't reset your expectations. You're saying, Coop, it's been 20 plus years. Coop, it's been 2 decades of pain and suffering, so that means we have to be good now. And that brings me to my next point. Since Mario Cristobal has been here, they are investing more in this football program than they ever have. And we are playing catch up. And I think people underestimate, like, I'm not trying to play Mr. Insider. You guys know that I don't like to do that. That's not my shtick. You're underestimating how far behind Miami was when compared to other top programs in the country. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's almost embarrassing. And I'm talking about in more ways than one. And it's things that money can fix. Like, really, it can. The problem is that doesn't happen overnight. And I know it sucks, y'all. Listen, Coop, that's all we hear all the time. Every single year is it's more time. One more year, 2 more years, one more recruiting class. I know. I get sick of it too. I root for the same team that you do. But I'm talking about reality here. And the reality is they're finally investing money, but we're only 2 years into it. We're only 2 years into investing the big boy money. And it takes years to upgrade facilities. You guys know the big, facility that they've approved. It's 2 or 3 stories, and it's got all this crazy stuff for recruits and different things. Like, that's going to take literal years. And it sucks, but again, starting with Mario here, it needed to be down here with expectations all the way down on the ground. You have to, as much as it sucks to do, you got to ignore the last 2 decades. We're starting from ground zero, and I am not making excuses for him. I'm not. There are plenty of things that need to be better. His game management. There's still zero excuses for, showing up flat and slow starts and some of the silly things that happen. But I do know that Mario does care about this program, and we are definitely investing more than we ever have. Period. Now I've gotten completely off track. Now I'm trying to even remember what else I wanted to talk about. I just can't understand how people think that literally just pressing the reset button every other year is going to fix all of our problems. I'm not saying that Dawson's going to pan out to be the greatest offensive coordinator in Miami Hurricanes history and, wow, this guy's so amazing. We don't know yet. It's his first season. Let's look at next year. We'll compare. And then we'll go from there. Guidry was definitely, I think, the right hire. Guidry is just a fit. Guidry works, man. And, people forget that, you say, well, Coop, you were all about getting rid of, wow, I've literally, removed his name from my brain, Gaddis. Coop, you were all about getting rid of Gaddis, and that was year 1. That was literally Mario's first year, too. Yeah, you're right. But you want to know why? Gaddis was not a fit in more ways than one. It actually even goes deeper than football with Gaddis. Gaddis had confrontations with players. There is a cat chasing me down here. That's not my cat, by the way. Okay, interesting. Yeah, you never know what's going to happen out here when you live out in the middle of nowhere. Gaddis and Mario butted heads. Mario didn't like the way Gaddis conducted interviews. There were clashes between Gaddis and player parents. It was just all around bad. He was not a good fit for just the South Florida area, period. Gaddis got here and then decided, I don't like this. This ain't for me. I don't want to be here anymore. So it went way deeper than football. So that's why, I wanted him out of here. I heard plenty of stories and talked to players and a lot of different people. But Dawson does seem to fit really well. The players like him. The player parents like him. Cristobal likes him. And I know I'm focusing a lot on him, but like I said, I'm pretty sure I could ask you guys, and the majority of you will say you're pretty happy with Guidry, but you're very upset with Dawson. And like I said, I'm upset with Dawson too. I am. But the call for the man's head is ridiculous. Idiotic. Makes 0 sense. And honestly, that's a big part of the problem, and it's a big reason why we are where we are right now, why we're having to dig ourselves out of this hole. It's not the main reason, but it is one of the reasons. So I don't know, did I maybe talk you off the ledge a little bit, or did I make it even worse? Let me know what you think. Man, this team wins 8 or 9 games if we had a really good, experienced quarterback. And I know Tyler Van Dyke has experience, but notice I said really good at the beginning of that. A really good, consistent, experienced quarterback. We don't have that. And that's so important, you know? And yeah, I know sometimes, well, Coop, what about Ken Dorsey? Or what about some of these other quarterbacks that are just game managers and are just okay, and their football teams are really good or great? We're still trying to figure this thing out. It's the first year with this offense. So, like I said, zero excuses, bro. I swear, if you jump down in the comment section and you say, Coop, you're one of these younger Canes and you're just fine with being mid because it's all you've ever known, get out of here. That has absolutely nothing to do with it. It's just that my expectations were pretty low, because I'm looking at the bigger picture. I'm looking at this thing as a whole. I'm looking at how we've got where we are right now and why it is so bad, and trying to set a realistic timeline in my head as to how long it's going to take for us to actually be back. Boy, this cat is just, I don't know if it's trying to attack me. I don't know if it's trying to assert its dominance over me. I'm not really sure what's happening, but it's kind of taking over the video because it's trying to climb up my legs. And now there are also my neighbor's dogs out here. Well, I think it's about time to wrap this video up. If I had anything else to say, I have now forgotten it. But anyways, man, I'll just close with saying this. Please don't run Dawson out of town. Please don't continue to yell and scream to fire Mario Cristobal, because you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. But it is okay to hold everyone accountable and set your expectations high and want this team to be better. There is nothing wrong with that. And there are a couple more things that need to happen and a little bit more time, and I think that will be the case. And I know that time's a dirty word. I know it is. But it just is what it is. 6-4. Louisville, Boston College left. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. I'm going to set this thing down. We'll do the outro. Like I said, not my dog. Not my dog, but here we are. Remember though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family, but at the end of the day, I gotta say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one.